Hello and welcome to Hearth and Hammer. We are a family-friendly D&D show, and thank you for joining us this evening. Whether you're doing so live, watching on YouTube, or listening to the podcast. We are in Campaign 2, Episode 3 tonight, continuing our adventure in the world of Xennelia, our homebrew fantasy setting using the 5e system. As always, we have our phenomenal players with us this evening. How are you all doing?
Bless my man.
Good. Oh
Good,
man,
good.
it's here already. It's here already.
He's already in it. Pappy is
Somebody mute
in
him.
character, 100%, which is fantastic. I mean, look. He started with the helmet, the beard, and the hammer last campaign. So, if you've been around a while, you know. So, Austin says his character loses control of the werewolf at midnight. So, everyone roll initiative.
Done.
Werebear, Austin, gosh, get it right for your own character. Yes, it's Reborn. He goes, wait, is that Reborn? Yes.
One of these days I'll have to put my full
That
third
is not-
garb on for you guys
That
to
is
see.
not his real hair. He did
That's
not
his
grow.
emo Twilight
What are you
cousin.
talking about?
that
This
is.
is my
It's true.
these are my luscious locks right here. What are you doing?
He
You
did
look
not
like
grow
Edward's
6 inches
cousin
of
from
hair
Twilight.
in a
is what
week.
you look like.
Yeah.
All right.
Does he sparkle in the sunlight?
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into our session, shall we? Let's have our little intro here, and we'll get started. Last time on Hearth and Hammer, as the party prepared to embark on the survival challenge for the Tetralith Harvest Trials, they were joined by their fifth assigned member, a Zetali named Pappy. After exchanging pleasantries, the group set off following the prescribed path, following their particular group's colored tassels. After discovering the trail into the woods to the north, the adventurers were able to follow their assigned path even after the dark of night fell. Tika Tik, however, struggled to keep up in the dark and overexerted herself just a little bit. After they finally stopped to camp for the night, Erebus took the first 2 watches to let the others recover. Deep into the second watch, a rush of smoke and shadow lunged from the forest, attacking the party. Battling not 1 but 2 shade stalkers, the group were close to the brink, with several party members taking grave injuries. Their luck turned, however, when an armored and upright bear emerged from the wood, wielding a greatsword, and attacking the nearest stalker. After dispatching both beasts, the bear shifted into a half-orc Maskar, who had been tracking the shadowy creatures. The crew, healing their injuries, and being introduced to the werebear, who had come to their aid, they attempted to finish their rest for the evening. And that is where we left off. So, you all went back to sleep. But Erebus, it was about the end of your watch. So who would take the next watch?
I believe Tika Tik was next in line to take watch.
I think Tika was going to take the last watch.
Take the last watch. Okay.
So there's one more watch because there's 4
Got
in
it.
the night.
I can
Okay.
do it.
Right?
Okay.
Because you each have to have 6
Either
hours
I was
of
taking.
rest
I
and
can't
2
remember if I
hours
was
of-
taking the next watch or if I was sharing the first watch. No, I was snuck up on while I was asleep, so I was definitely
Yes.
had volunteered for the second watch.
Yes. So yes, you were
It's
injured.
just fitting. It's just fitting. You took a
It is
nap
fitting.
and Erebus let
Yeah.
you down, and so you're like, I'm doing
Yes.
it now. I'm doing it.
Not gonna
Yes.
sneak up on me again. I'm gonna be awake. this time.
Absolutely. Okay, so Loris, you all are quieting down, and you see the half-orc also kind of curl up by the fire, to get a little rest. And Erebus also kind of goes into his hibernative state, his trance, if you will. Yeah, he's just passed out. What are you doing? Anything?
I am alert. I have all my eyes are open. I'm there. I am checking behind every tree and every rock around because I will not be snuck up on again.
Okay. Are you so if you're actively kind of walking the perimeter?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you trying to do it quietly? Are you
No. I'm not concerned about being too noisy for my party members to sleep, but
Okay.
I am, keeping my ears open.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
He has like full-fledged PTSD.
Natty
at this
1. I
point.
don't know what my bonus is. I can look, but it is a natty
Okay.
1.
All right.
So.
That sucks.
We'll go with that. First roll of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Episode 3.
Yeah, you only think you're awake. That's what's happening
That's right.
here.
That's right.
Yeah, I actually had my eyes stabbed, and I have not realized it yet. So.
Yeah. You have your blood keeps kind of like pooling in your, hair coming rounding down from your injuries, But yeah, you're able to walk around. You're not necessarily as aware as you think you might be.
Still flustered. We'll say I'm still
Yeah.
flustered
You probably got a little bit
from
of a limp.
dying, almost.
Probably a little bit of a limp. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, you were pretty banged up. Halfway through your rotation, like about every kind of half patrol, you have to stop and like adjust bandages to make sure that it's not reopening those wounds. So, but yeah, you continue on alert. You are hyper aware to the point where everything seems to be making a twitch a little bit. And but you come to the end of your 2-hour stretch without incident, and you're able to rouse Tika Tik, who was going to take the last watch for the night.
Hey, Tik, it's your watch. I can say with every ounce of confidence in me that I saw nothing, and I don't think anything happened.
Cone of silence.
As she wakes up, she's gonna stretch, but you can't really tell because her arms and legs are really tiny, anyways. So it doesn't make much of a difference. And then she's going to get ready. So it's kind of like she's leaning against that log. She's not just gonna sit on it.
Okay.
She's not really going very far. She's still waking up.
Absolutely. And this, obviously, is like you're waking up to be awake for the day, basically, at this point. So, so yeah, you wake up and, what do you do to try to keep watch? Do you post up somewhere? Do you patrol? What's your style? What's Tika Tik's style of observing the camp?
So her style would be to like scurry up a tree, on a high point, and try to get a good view from there. So that's typically when she's by herself in the woods. Not only does that help her to get a good long view, but also adds in defense so that she's not likely to be set upon. So, that's what she would likely do.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me athletics or acrobatics to climb up the tree.
Get him. That one.
It's a 13. I have a +4, so it was helpful.
Okay, all right. Not, maybe takes you a little longer. You're still a little sleepy and kind of tired. But you have had your long rest technically. So Tika can mark that off. But you make it up to a vantage point that you're fairly confident in, and you sit down to watch. Go ahead and give me a nature check.
11.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. You're able to sit and relax yourself and start to observe kind of the forest as it starts to rouse in the early morning. It's getting close to twilight hours. You're starting to be able to see shades of gray, which is good for you because you don't have night vision. Obviously the fire is dying down, but it still provides a little bit of light. And so you're able to determine, not just with your eyes, but with your ears, with your knowledge of nature, what animals are stirring, what creatures are nearby, the rustle of leaves over on the other side of the camp. You recognize that it was some small creature not worthy of being concerned about. And you're able to make it to the end of your, or close to the end of your watch. As you are getting close to that end, you see the Half-Orc rouse from his slumber there before anyone else has woken up. And he pretty quietly checks his gear, kind of just adjusts everything, makes sure his sword is stowed properly, and kind of looks around and finally finds you, and then kind of motions for you to come, wants to talk a little bit away from the group as they're still finishing their long rest. So, assuming you climb down to talk
yes,
to
no,
him?
definitely. She's very intrigued by this giant creature in juxtaposition to her size. So she would have already kind of slowly been coming down to get closer to talk to communicate with him, not talk to him, but communicate with him.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see here. Okay, so yeah, he gets down and he, like I said, he's adjusting his gear. He pulls his sword out and he kind of like is like inspecting it and kind of like, maybe sharpening a little notch where he had been, gained a little wear from the night before. And here's his message to you. Okay, just make sure I'm turning on the right thing here.
As I'm sharpening my sword, I look over and see Tika Tik investigating the bodies.
Can you hear it?
Kind of nudging on their skin and pelt and kind of seeing it kind of vibrate, move, and shift. I decide to walk over, not to startle. And I assume you can understand me, right? Right. I see you looking at their pelts, wondering maybe how they get that ability. You see, the Vili people from Villephandria, we specialize in understanding beasts, creatures, and magical things. What we really specialize is knowing how to extract those magical essences, what makes them so special. See, we find that even most vile of creatures, when finally put down, they might still have something to offer us, something we can learn from and use for good. And I pull out a carving knife. You see, these creatures move so quickly and they're hard to hit because they blur. A lot of people think the power comes from the pelt. No, it's not true. Yeah, look at my hand.
He holds up his
See
hand.
it just fine. This is right here in front of me. Easy to hit. Starts to move back and forth, you can start to see it. But what if these creatures are able to shift their bodies so fast that they begin to blur? You see, it wouldn't be the skin that would do that. It's got to be something from within. Stab down into the creature on its chest, and you start to hear the as we're cutting it open. We found that these creatures are able to shift their bodies so fast when they need it. I reach my hand in. You see, what we have are these small ability to pump adrenaline through our body. We need it, just small. And I pull out big looping. You see, they're able to pump this essence through their body, which allows them to just shift and move at a vibration. Pull out a little vial, start to squeeze it. It starts to ooze down into the vial, fill up. You see, there's always something that you can learn from. Use this little vial of this black liquid. It kind of is almost even vibrating on the inside. It glimmers. And I start to hold it. I want you to have this. And I hand over that vial to Tika Tik. Drinking this will give you the same ability as these creatures, making it harder to hit for some time, but once that wears off, you'll feel exhausted. It has a heavy crash, so use it wisely. You need to make sure the fight is ended by the time this wears off, or it won't be good for you. But you need to promise me you'll use this for good, to help people, to protect them. Promise me. Well, like I said, evil is infectious. It spreads. And I'm afraid if we leave these bodies as they are, don't come by, try to resurrect them, try to use them for evil. Or maybe a beast comes and feeds on them, and evil corrupts them, they become rabid, vile. So we'll need to burn these bodies. We'll need some help to it. We start the ritual of burning, getting rid of these bodies. Pull out another adrenal gland from the other one and fill that vial and put it in my pocket. And, appreciate your help. Tell the others I said thank you as well. Thanks. Says I'm sure.
So, as he says that, he says, tell the others I said thanks. He turns and having helped you begun to dispose of these creatures, he starts to wander off into the woods. Not in the direction that he emerged from, but from the other direction, going towards the west. So, Tika Tik, you have been given a vial of this kind of smoky, vibrating liquid that is a vial of Shadestalker. I've forgotten what I've called it here. Vial of Shadestalker essence.
Okay.
And if you didn't catch that, he said if you drink it, you will gain their ability for a short period of time, but then you do has a pretty hard crash, and you'll be exhausted afterwards. You'll gain a level of exhaustion. So, but it does last you for 10 minutes. So
Okay. Okay. I've got it in my inventory. I'll tuck it away to keep safe for a future time.
Absolutely.
And I would say probably the entire time that he was speaking, she was probably reverently paying great attention. Seeing his prowess the night before, and the fact that he is even more giant to her than others.
Yes.
And that he was communicating something new to her. That's something that she really hungers for a lot, is understanding and learning and taking in that information. So she takes that and is going to hold that possession very. It's going to be very important to her. Very important to her. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And she's not planning on sharing any of that information with the rest of the party. Not because she doesn't think they would need to know it, but A, very difficult for her to communicate without speaking, and B, she's not exactly sure who they are yet, and so, but she'll probably keep that secret to herself.
Okay. Speaking of, how does Tika Tik communicate when it does require a longer explanation with people? What method does she use?
So she has the ability to speak telepathically, but she reserves that for very close relationships, which they're not here. She's not going to waste that time on anyone here yet, but she can. She can if she needs to do it that way. Otherwise, she hasn't really spent enough time with anyone to have to go into depth on things.
What about trade or anything like that? Sorry, we're just fleshing your character out.
No,
right now,
you're good. You're good. So as far as trade goes, there's a lot of holding things out and gesturing back and forth.
So just gestures,
Yes. Yep.
Pointing to how much coins are in her hand, maybe, or counting out.
Maybe, counting it out on the table and kind of moving things around. Think if you were like shopping in a foreign country, you didn't speak the language, like that kind of stuff, like this much, these kind of things. So those kind of things. She can write. She can write too if she really needed to write a short thing. But again, sentences, paragraphs, stories, things like that. She would probably reserve that communication. She could do it telepathically as long as she can speak the language that someone else can speak. So if it's one of the languages she can speak telepathically that.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So with that, like I said, this werebear half-orc wanders into the woods and disappears. About 20 minutes later or so, the fires that he helped you start, this kind of ritual, almost sacrificial burning of these shade stalkers, is, give me either an investigation or an intelligence check to see if you caught kind of how he started this, disposal, if you will.
That is a 10, so probably not.
Okay. You didn't catch a whole lot of it. You kind of saw what it looked like, but you didn't necessarily see how. So, but anyway, that's kind of even already dying down. It's still flaring up a little bit, but it's definitely contained. It's not like it was almost like you started another campfire where you guys had dragged the bodies earlier that night. About that time, the rest of you wake up to the smell of meat cooking. But not quite what you expect when you wake up and realize Tika Tik is standing over two burning bodies.
Do we like this smell, or is it like putrid?
It's not
I don't
putrid.
think she pulled the fur off. If she didn't pull the fur off,
Yeah,
it's also
so you're
burnt
probably
hair.
getting that burnt hair as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't dressed or seasoned, it was just. But it's not. It's like I said, it's not putrid, but it's not like super delicious smelling.
Who's making breakfast?
I agree.
It smells delicious.
Smells good.
Bacon?
Good.
So
Okay, maybe not so good. Good.
Yeah.
I look around. Am I seeing the burnt bodies, or is this?
Yeah,
more
yeah. I
just-
mean, there's
okay.
So it's about probably 20, 30 feet away from you guys. They had kind of gone over to where the bodies were, done all this, had their conversation, and and so Tika Tik's over there just kind of watching them. And they're at this point, there's some flames, but they're not big. But there's also just kind of like a lot of the smoke, from that. Also, at this point, you're in the forest, so it still seems very dim light, but you can tell that it's morning. That because there is light coming in, it's just you're still under the wood. But you all get to take long rest, so you may do so.
I think as Erisbeth wakes up, smells the smells, he's gonna look over. He's gonna try to flag down Tika Tik and just kind of do like a shrug, like what gives.
She's gonna assume he means where did the orc go, and she's gonna just point to the woods. Like that's good. Like she sees nothing wrong with what's happening here. Nothing wrong with the scene. She's like, he went that way. That's what he did. And that's the totality of the sign is that way. He went that way.
Okay, I'm just gonna wave off and I'm gonna point down, like wave off and point down at the body.
How would you communicate this? So, one of the body,
I mean, he's
Why the-
half orc. You could, be like tusk, bear.
I think I'm
Bear.
What?
This is bear.
I don't know, whatever it is.
No. So I think
Now
I think
that's our
bear.
symbol for bear. That's our symbol for bear from now on, guys.
He said a demon came.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm gonna break character, but that was like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes. Tusk. Exactly.
Yes.
It's kind of
Sorry, go ahead.
So she's gonna point again to where he went, and then point to this, and then maybe she will do the little tusks. That's the only way she can think to explain it. Like she's understand they're burning the bodies. This is obviously what's happening here. Maybe she would say don't eat. Don't eat this. Don't do that. Don't do it. Yeah.
So I think Erebus is going to conclude his reaction by looking at the rest of the group and like, are we just burning evidence now or what?
I'm just wondering,
We're not eating it.
who's making breakfast?
You can eat it if you want to. I'm out.
Yeah.
No. I'm upset. I smelled something cooking. I woke up and so somebody has to make breakfast now. I'm hungry. I'm famished. I've been up for all of 30 seconds. I'm famished at this point.
What do you like?
Not that.
Okay. Do
Tika
you like
Tik's gonna
mushrooms?
She's got a handful of berries, and she's gonna take one, and just throw it at him. Like, there you go. There's your breakfast. Give what you got to do. Yeah. And then
Seth, I forage around to try to find something tasty and something good to complement whatever rations we have on us.
Okay. Absolutely.
And I'm gonna join Loris.
Okay. Absolutely.
I'm just staring at this pitiful ration in front of me, like.
So you're able to eat breakfast, kind of gather your things. Where do you go from here? What are you doing?
I was also going to say that I share anything good I find, I share it with Pappy. That was kind of the point of. I'm kind of getting in
So you
people's
get a few-
good graces here.
Get a few berries, get a few, it's a little sweet, a little tart. But
What does Rockbiter
much-
eat? Does Rockbiter eat normal food?
Rockbiter.
Do I? Did you rock biter? Yeah, I eat
Zetali.
normal food. I'm a normal person.
I don't know about that, but
Wow, it's the color of my skin. Is it the color of my skin? Is that what we're doing right now?
that's exactly what it is. And the
Hey,
shape
D.
shifting.
Hey DM, as I'm with Loris looking for food, I'm also looking for any, now that it's daylight, I'm looking for any other colors, stringers,
Okay.
anything hanging on branches.
Absolutely. Give me a perception check.
Oh god. 10 plus 15.
Okay. Yeah, you remember the direction in regards to the direction you've been traveling. You remember the direction that you would have to go, and you think you spy about 50 feet into the woods, possibly the green and yellow striped tassels from a branch, about eye level, because they've all been kind of about the same eye level at this point. So you hadn't quite made it to the next one, but you had to stop because it had been dark. So
Okay. So I think in Discovery, I'm just going to whistle. I'm not going to do it because my kids are sleeping, but I'm just going to whistle to the rest of the group and kind of do this eye pointing and pointing at the tassel.
Okay.
I think he wants us to poke his eyes out.
Exactly.
This royalty is crazy. I don't get what he's. Is that what nobles do? Do they just like stab each other in the eye? Like
Tika Tik is instantly reminded of what happened the day before and is quickly out in front, as far from Pappy as she can possibly get, exploring the woods, taking the lead if need be.
All right, absolutely. So you all get to the next tassel marker. You see it. Go ahead and Tika Tik, give me a survival or nature check as you lead the group
19.
this morning. 19.
Nice.
All right. This morning, you guys are alert. You are able
I can
to
see.
blaze the trail. It is daylight, so you can see. And yeah, you do a great job of following the initial guidance that Erebus let off, and you take them through, the first tassel. You get to, travel for another, half hour to hour, and you get to the next one. You're confident you're going in the right direction. And you all travel for about 3 hours, and then you finally get to another little clearing, and you find one of the boxes. Once you get that box, Tika Tik, you're the first to reach it. You do notice there is kind of a rope on the side, and so even though it's kind of above your head, a little hard for you to like open it and see what's inside, it's got like this little mechanism, and you can kind of pull it down, and it runs down the pole, and so you're able to open it up, and inside you pull out another little scrap of paper. This time with your colors on it specifically, knowing that it's meant for your group specifically at this point. And it says, congratulations on finding the oh my gosh, my words tonight. Congratulations on completing this part of the trial. You have successfully survived through one night, and now must return to the Harvest Festival. Be cautious and report back in as you encounter on what you encountered. So.
She's gonna hold it up like this. This is what we walked into the woods for? Seriously? And she'll just kind of hand it off to him like that. And so she's ready to head back. Okay. Challenge is complete, I guess. Okay.
You hand it off to who?
I would say the one that was closest behind me, which likely would have been you. But whoever's right there, I'm just gonna start handing it to the first person. So.
DM,
Nope.
is that me? DM.
Yes. Does anybody else look at it, look in the box, do anything else?
Yeah, I gave it a look over.
I look at it as well and wonder aloud. This was the trial. Do you guys think those stalkers were planted? Is that
one of
part
you
of it, or-
give me
I
an
was just
investigation
thinking
check.
the same thing. I don't think the stalkers were part of the trial. It makes me wonder if the it makes me wonder if they know that the stalkers are out in this area.
That seems
I'm
super
not
dangerous
sure.
for just a survival.
Vigo, give me an
Yeah.
investigation check.
Yeah.
I'd be just happy to be here with these people. Could care less what the piece of paper says. He's still intrigued by Tika Tik. I'm like trying to stay near Erebus because I believe he's royalty. So
Pappy, give me another intelligence check.
Okay.
15 for investigate. So.
Oh yes, baby. Yes. Just straight intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a 4.
Okay.
Smart dude.
The more that you watch,
the
more that you watch Tika Tik, the more confused you are with her sign language. You just are having the hardest time understanding her. So, Vigo, as you go ahead,
you're gonna have to teach her Morse code on rocks.
My mother always told me that my brain was a masterpiece. She said, in the left part, there's nothing that's right, and right part, nothing is left.
Okay. Vigo, you're saying this as you're kind of like inspecting the box. You kind of like pull the little rope, raise it back up. As you do, you hear a little jingle. And what you find in there is actually what was under the paper. There's actually a coin. And it's like a fresh minted coin with the kind of like the embossed stripes across it that you're familiar with seeing on like the wizard robes and stuff. And then the symbol of the Tetralith Academy on the front of it. On the back side, it has a kind of like some icons of harvest. You see, kind of like a sickle and some wheat. You see some grains, and so that's what you find there.
A coin.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Do we all see him holding this coin, or?
I mean, are you trying to be secretive about it, Vigo?
No, I would. I'm not trying to be stealthy about it. I'd probably, in fact, turn around and say, "This is interesting. I wonder if we're meant to spend this, or just return it, or if it's a trophy, or what."
Do we recognize this as common currency? Like, is this something we would recognize,
so it's
or is
not
this new?
Currency. However, you would understand, especially you, Erebus, because you've been, in your experience, you've been probably to a few of these harvest things. You know that a lot of times they will have minted coins for use during the harvest trials. Most often they'll be different each year. They have little value outside of the harvest trials because they're not. It's not gold. It's oftentimes it may be even made to look gold, but often at the end of the trials, those darn wizards, it changes to like copper or something.
These are like tickets to the skee ball machine.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
a Chuck E. Cheese ticket.
They're also sometimes earned as part of these challenges. So,
Dragon.
I bet you have plenty of coins like that, don't you, Your Highness?
Yeah,
Mounds of them.
I look over at Pappy. I kind of roll my eyes. I'm honestly gonna look at this coin and shrug, and I'm just gonna start walking slowly. I'm just gonna start walking back the way we came, kind of defeated, kind of lost motivation.
Can I grab the coin from Vigo?
Do you offer it up, Vigo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try to bite it.
I mean, how hard do you try to bite it? You're like,
I try to see if it's metal. I'm just gonna.
No, it's metal for sure.
Up.
It's not soft like gold, but it's not like, super dense or anything. But it's definitely metal. So yeah, it doesn't like leave an imprint like a gold would.
Is it magical?
You don't know? Do you want to find out?
Yeah. I'd like to look at it.
Okay, yeah. Are you gonna cast something, or you just want to do an Arcana check?
You know what? I'll try to magical tinkering it.
Magical tinkering. Okay.
So I imbue a non-magical object.
Sure.
With
So
I'm gonna try to.
So you're going to basically try to tinker something to determine if you can tinker with it, to determine if it's magical or not.
I'm gonna attempt it, and it's gonna fail if it's
magical. Let's roll an Arcana check for that.
Okay. All right. Well, that dice is going away because that's 2 nat 1s in a row. So that's a whopping 6.
All right. Regardless of what you were trying to do, you failed.
Okay.
Whether whether you believe you could tinker it or not, whether it's magical or not, you just don't really get a good sense of it. And
I mean, what is he even trying to do?
I'm just over there like doing weird things to it. Nothing's working.
Yeah.
Got my tools.
Okay.
I asked him if it tasted that good.
No.
Okay.
It was not as good as the berries you gave me earlier.
Oh,
Can I try and swipe it
that's
from him?
good.
Yeah. Like as soon.
I was gonna
do you
toss
put
it. To you.
I don't even want
I was
to
gonna-
toss it. Like, I'm trying to like.
I was gonna make it just do the clicking thing that they called you by constantly, and then throw it to you.
So, okay, let's do this. Both of you give me a dexterity check, and we'll see how quickly he throws it to you, or if you're trying to swipe it before he throws it to you.
Dex.
Okay.
Yeah, dex.
18.
4. Okay, so Tika Tik, yes, you're absolutely able to attempt to swipe it from him. In fact, he's kind of like flipping it up in the air and like, doing his little stuff, and you just kind of reach out and catch it on one of the flips. And so you've got that now.
And I take it and I flick it back to Vigo. Like, hold on to this, please. Like, there you go. Hang on to this.
Vigo, roll a dexterity check to see if you catch it.
Dex.
With
This coin's gonna
disadvantage.
hit him dead in the center of the head.
So that one, he takes like 10
14.
damage.
Okay,
He goes down.
you kind of you reach out and you catch it, and you are shocked you caught it with such dexterity there. All right. Okay, so you all begin to head back to the Tetralith Academy. So, Erebus, you said you were leading the way back.
I had already started heading that direction, yeah.
Absolutely. You begin this time at a little bit faster pace because you are not looking for clues as much. So you were able to make a little bit faster pace. As you all travel, you had eventually make it back to your camp. You remember that you had collected those straps with the stones in them that had runes on them, that you had recovered from the creatures. Who had those, by the way?
I had one.
Okay. And Pappy, you had one? Okay.
No. It was Tika Tik that one.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't
pointing
know.
down
I don't
doesn't
know
help
if
me
T-
because you're to my right. So.
Oh. See, I'm looking in Discord, not in the stream. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Tika Tik had one. Who else had one?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't.
Vigo, didn't you inspect one of them?
Yeah, I was thinking Vigo did.
Vigo will
Maybe
say
I
you
did.
have that as well.
Okay, I have a rune. I also have the map as well, apparently.
Okay. The one that you were given
the
from
tree
the
on it.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just you have those, and you begin your journey back.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do for travel here. We're going to speed up just a little bit. Erebus, go ahead and give me. What would you do to kind of lead the party back at a quickened pace? What skill would you use? And go ahead and give us a roll for that.
What skill would I use? I mean, honestly, I would probably do, I don't know, honestly, probably athletics, which is funny because it's a -1 bonus, but Probably do athletics because I'm trying to get back quickly, and I know the path, and it's daytime.
Okay.
So I'd probably using the skill athletics and moving at a quicker pace.
Okay. Trying to guide people, guide the group.
Luckily, it's a 19, so an 18.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. You're able to move through the brush and the woods at a fairly quickened pace, and you all seem to be making good time. Loris, as you all continue on, what do you do to kind of assist the group as they traverse back to the Tetralith Academy? And this is over the
I'm
course of the
keeping
day.
everyone pumped up. Everyone is doing a great job. I'm proud of y'all. We can do this. We're a team. We just met, but we are meshing. Okay, the chemistry is there. Only not even half of us have nearly died yet. Okay, we're doing great.
One encounter.
Yeah,
100%.
We met a werebear. We met a werebear our first night together.
This is coming from one of the guys that almost died.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm feeling great.
He's positive.
I'm optimistic.
It was those mushrooms we gave him as medicine.
I don't know
That's what's
why.
happening.
I don't know why. Just then, I heard Owen Wilson giving that speech.
All right.
Wow.
We
we did a really
Wow,
good job.
a
guys.
werebear.
A werebear.
Never seen one of those
Wow.
before. Out in the wild.
Wow, look at that.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No, that's fine. Give me what role are you gonna help to bolster the group's spirits as you travel?
Skill. So that was supposed to be charisma. So let's say maybe performance or persuasion. One
I
of
think
those two.
Performance or persuasion. Yeah. Go. Take
Say
your pick.
performance. Say
Okay.
performance.
Steal mine.
8. So 4 plus 4. So 8.
All right, so you are talking to the group and just cheering them on, and about 3 hours into it, everyone's a little on edge with how much you've still been giving them encouragement, warning Tika Tik of the tree that was in front of her 7 times. Yeah, there's a little bit of frustration coming from the group, so. You don't quite bolster him as you plan there. So, Vigo
points in the sun, like I can see.
Yeah,
I can see now. I see the tree.
Vigo, what do you do to help the group as you travel back?
I think what I would do is use survival.
Okay.
Trying to look around and scout around for things that would make our path easier. That might include food, berries, nuts, windfalls in the form of shortcuts or paths less used but seem to be right.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give us a survival check then. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You're able to accomplish that, and you're, kind of coming into your own. You feel like, I'm able to contribute to this group. I know a little bit about nature. Kind of being secluded, close, out. You're in your own country after all. These woods seem familiar to you, and so yeah, you're absolutely able to do that. Pappy, what are you doing to assist the group?
Well, I was going to use performance, but...
Okay. So instead of performance, what else would you be doing to help the group make it back to the Tetralith Academy?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. It's not what I thought of. I don't rightly know, to be completely honest with you.
Okay. Let's see.
I was gonna sing an old Zetali work song, but somebody decided they just wanted to tell us we were doing a good job instead.
You were doing a good job. It's just that not everyone was ready to hear the message, no matter the length.
It would be nice if we could avoid some sunshine pumping. moving
Yeah.
forward.
So you want to how do you want to what's something that you're good at that you feel like you could contribute to this journey here?
Annoying everybody.
Okay.
Something I'm
That's
very
positive that you're good
So
at.
that we want to get back.
Oh, okay, got you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Religion, dude. Teach us your religion. Let's go.
I'm ready to learn. My mind is an open vessel.
Ask the gods for a shorter path home, and do a whole ritual of consulting your gods to get us home.
Yeah.
You have +5 in history.
You know how to do a rain dance? Is that part of your religion?
I would have gods. Like, that's the thing.
I was gonna say, Pappy, what
Maybe I'm using the history check to retrace our steps because I remember
Okay. All right.
where we came the time before.
Go for it.
Guys, I'm not rolling the dice. It's had 2 nat 1s and a 3. That is way better. That would be a 22.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a pretty good memory, and you're able to recall kind of the path you took. Very important when you are indeed, working in the mines or the mountains. So you are able to guide the group pretty easily, and because as we've talked about before, we're using the campfire travel system by Abyssal Brews. You all are able to make it back just as evening is coming. You break from the woods as dusk is settling, and you see the welcoming lights of the large tent city through the gaps in the broken ruins of the wall surrounding the Tetralith Academy. And you, as you walk, you do see groups of people who are wandering around. You see groups who are traveling on the roads to some of the nearby event areas. There's kind of like the area where some of the combat happens and other stuff. But you all are returning, heading in, and you have the coin and the paper there as you return. Do you head directly in to report? What do you choose to do?
As lead, I'm gonna take a, if I'm allowed to, perception check. Has anything changed? Is there anything about the camp area that I would notice that would cause alarm?
Give me a perception check.
18.
Okay. You don't see anything. Like I said, the groups of people or the individuals traveling here and there seem, like they kind of just going about the normal harvest festival activities. So,
do we see other groups returning from the woods or in town that we recognize?
You see a few people. You see a couple of people. You do see one group actually going in to the woods. About 100 feet. As you come out of the woods, they're about 100 feet in one direction to the east. They're going into the woods, like maybe they're starting their survival trial.
So they're staggered. It's not like
Yes.
It's not like everybody's.
Yes, and so that's and you would have probably been explained that on the way. That there would be multiple stages of trials. It's like a 10-day long festival, ushering in the harvest time, and also this is the largest festival in Xennelia because it is such a collaboration of all the nations who are gathered here at the Tetralith Academy to compete, to do business, to negotiate trade. And then, because the Tetralith Academy is not just a magical academy, but also a martial academy, these are when young hopefuls to join, such as yourself, do try to take the trials as part and exams as part of the entrance. So,
yeah, I would say I'm hungry and tired, but overriding that would be the eagerness to go turn in the quest, so to speak, and see what kind of reward is there or what lies there. So that's what I would encourage the group to do. But
absolutely. So you all, like I said, it's twilight, but you're getting a lot of light coming off of this tent city. I mean, there are hundreds of people here. And as you approach the wall, you see there are some of the yellow-robed wizards who are there. Some of them are giving instructions. Some of them are welcoming people back. You do see one young female wizard who is dressed, only has one stripe on her sleeves. And she says, as you approach, she says, "Ah, yes. Are you returning from one of your trials?"
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You did very well.
We did good.
Oh,
good,
that's
good,
excellent
good,
news.
good,
Excellent.
Good.
Very good. Well, yes, if you will go ahead and return to the pavilion tent that you received your tassel from, there will be a booth there to collect, what it is that you recovered, and also give you instructions for the next event.
I say, we fought your shadow stalker beasts. They were really challenging.
She kind of gives you a quizzical look there and says, "I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. Are you?"
They're big and black, and they look like
you
chickens without feathers. And
a shade stalker?
They have smoke.
Yep, that was
we
it.
We don't have any trial involving a shade stalker. Are you sure that you saw one?
Well, not anymore.
We saw two.
Saw
two?
Yeah, past tense.
I would definitely include that in your report to the people taking that. I would definitely talk to them about that.
Do we get extra credit for that?
Yes. Yes. She gives you kind of the, I'm older than you, but only by a couple of years, but I'm going to act like you're a child.
Because he is.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, you can tell, again, common knowledge in Xennelia are things like what, who the Maskar are. Everyone is usually able to determine which nation someone who wears a mask is from. They also know the difference between a child's mask and an adult mask as well. As well as, knowing things like what Zetali are, there's, like I said, this is a fairly well-traveled world. There's not any major wars going on at the moment. So yeah, they would kind of she would look at you and be like, yes, definitely, you will get some extra incentive from that.
And she said, "That's great."
Don't treat my friend like a child.
My apologies, sir. I didn't meant no offense.
I'm gonna puff my little tiny chest up. It's very unintimidating whatsoever, but I'm gonna just puff my little chest out.
She's only about a foot or two above you. She's not very tall. You kind of get, yeah. Go ahead.
Where are her stripes? Where's her stripes at? You said one stripe. Where's
she
it
has
at?
one stripe on the sleeve. Basically, she.
I'm gonna point to it and go one stripe. One.
yeah. We're
talking trash as NPC.
she kind of looks at you and goes,
"Roll initiative."
She kind of huffs and says, "Just make sure you report that." And she feigns like she sees somebody else and goes, yes. And she turns and starts walking away.
Yeah, DM will think twice about talking crap to one of us.
Hey, as I'm watching body language, having been, 130 years old, do I pick up any, does she feign, ignorance? Is she being
about
honest with her reaction?
Give me an insight check.
Insight. Come on, don't fail me now. A 4 plus 3, 7. A 7.
Hard to read.
She looks real sincere.
You're not really sure. She didn't give alarm in any sense, but definitely questioning, like,
Whether we fought them or not.
Yeah, maybe she, maybe you're not sure. Maybe you're not sure if she believed you, kind of thing.
Okay, so I sensed that she didn't believe us. Interesting. Okay.
So, but yeah, so you pick your way through the crowd down the main thoroughfare towards the pavilion where you all had originally gathered, minus Pappy, to hear the announcements and receive your tassels. It's busier, but also less busy because there's not like a line of people, but there are people going in and out because, as you know, these are also the tents where people come for food. They come for just kind of a social gathering every evening, and this is in full swing, the nightly party, if you will. But outside of the pavilion, you have the table with two mages who look, one older and one younger, who look absolutely bored that they have to stand here and be on duty to take reports. You see the older one has 3 stripes on his sleeve, and you're not quite sure. One of the stripes is a different color. So the other one is 1 stripe as well.
What race are they?
The older one is looks to be an older human. He is standing there. He's got the younger of the two is quite tall and is actually a furbolg.
Do I still have the coin?
Yes.
I'll take it up to them, say,
Okay.
and report.
You
So
approach,
the-
and the older of the two notices you first and kind of elbows the younger, who was trying to lean over and look in the tent pavilion there, and he's like, yeah. And so he kind of like cues him to do his job, and the furbolg says, well, hello. He's quite tall but super thin, and he's like, well, hello. It seems you have a report to give. Is that true?
Yeah, we do. We made it
Which
through the
trial
woods,
were you on?
And, the first one.
A hard
Well,
one.
Many teams had
Oh,
started with different
The tree,
trials.
the leaning
It was the
tree
one where
one.
we fought the stalker things a little.
We're just all
They
rambling
were-
on about things that have nothing. A hard one, the
Had
leading tree
shadow.
one, the one with the shadow things. And
Where,
the,
and,
Where did
and
you
we get
did
this
you?
coin.
Okay,
we
let
went
me
in
see
the
coin.
forest.
And there was a mage,
In
and
the
she
fort. Okay,
seemed
so
really impressed, and she said we'd get extra credit. And I also want to go to the academy here.
And double food. She said it would get us double food too. That's what she
She's,
said.
this tall furbolg is definitely looking at you like as you each speak, like trying to keep up with the conversation. Let's see. Erebus, give me a perception check.
Ooh, 21. 16
You
plus 5.
notice when Vigo says the word Shade Stalker, he perks up a little bit.
Which one?
The older of the two.
Furbolg?
Okay.
Oh,
He leans forward actually and says, "Forgive me, friends, but please go ahead and let me get a report from just one at a time, please. Your challenge was, you said, in the woods. Were you on the survival challenge?"
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that's it.
interject.
You're
That's
gonna
it?
interject.
Yeah, I'm gonna inject that. Excuse my friends. We were on the survival mission in the north.
Yep.
We succeeded, got a coin. But we also ran into these shadow beasts, and then I flick over towards Loris and Tika Tik, and I motion like, show them the balls. Show them the stones, the enchanted stones.
Okay. Vigo and Tika Tik, you both have those.
Vigo. Yeah.
And then Vigo
Yeah.
also, I'm assuming you're giving the coin over as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I say, I like walk up and say, he meant me. And pull it out and show it.
So, okay. Yeah, so you lay these two. Do you both lay the kind
No,
of like.
Tika, if she sees Vigo getting ready to give his up, she's hanging on to hers.
Okay. So Vigo sets both the coin and the talisman, if you will,
Gem.
down, and the older mage, he kind of slides the coin over to the Furbolg, and picks up the talisman and looks at it intently. He takes his hand and kind of waves it over it, and you see the rune light up briefly, just for a moment. He says, This was on a Shadestalker, you said.
Yeah, it was on the two of them that you put out in the forest for us. I'm assuming that was part of this survival check, no?
We were in
Say nothing
necklaces.
else and follow me. And he turns around and he begins walking. And he takes about 10 steps. And he turns around. Have any of you followed him?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm following. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow if they're following. I'll follow.
He looks at the Furbolg and he says, "Remain here and take anything else." He stops for a second and he says, "Go ahead and give them what they're due at the moment." And the Furbolg, who you now recognize as female, says, "Yes, well, here we are." And she hands you a different coin, one that looks very similar to it, but it has basically the yellow. The stripes on it are bright yellow, meaning like it's completed, basically. And so she hands it back to Vito. He still is holding on to the talisman. He says, "Quickly, please follow me." And so he stands up and begins walking around the pavilion and leading you in towards the behind it, which is kind of in the interior of the town. You know what? Let's look at our map, shall we, of the town?
Let's go.
The map.
Let me pull it up 1 second.
It's a map. It's a map.
These maps are brought to you by alchemyrpg.com.
That's right.
You didn't write a jingle, did you?
I didn't. I do need to have a command for chat, though. Okay. Are you guys in alchemy?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. So now, all right. Everyone should be able to see it.
Yes.
Beautiful. I had to adjust it last time for our addition. Thank you, Austin, if you're still here, for joining us. Okay. So looking at alchemy now. So you all are in this like kind of hexagon-shaped pavilion just at the northern point of the map. As you approach from the north, you arrive
The northern point of the innermost circle.
Yeah, the innermost circle. There's
Okay, I see it.
there's 8 large pavilions, kind of right at the end of each pathway leading in.
Yeah.
And these are those pavilions where like I said, people come together to eat. They come to hang out, kind of have social activity. But at the same time, there are people wandering around all manner of, there are shops and stalls, and there's trade going on. There are vendors. There are craftsmen and tinkers. I mean, it is a full-fledged festival with every possible thing you can imagine at this point, from every nation. He leads you around, and through the buildings there to the building just before you get to the ruined tower, right there. It's a kind of a short 2-story building. There are kind of looks like 3 in a row of different buildings that are kind of there in this avenue, with some blue thatched roofing. And he leads you to one on the right. He leads you to a door, pulls it open, and says, "Do come in for a moment, please." Leads you in. You see what is kind of a sitting room. Nothing fancy, but it's definitely kind of like a receiving room of some kind, maybe a meeting room. But you're there, and he says, "Please wait here for just a moment. I need to report this, and I know there will be questions about it, so I will be back shortly, maybe 20 minutes." You all acknowledge or do anything?
Yeah, I really want to get. I want to ask for it back because I don't trust that.
I mean, if you
We'll just
want to do that.
make ourselves
Yeah,
alone.
yeah, definitely. I'm going to ask for it back. I'm like, we risked our lives for that. Can I hold on to it as you go back and
When
talk
you
to your leadership?
Let me just confirm here, and that's fine. In fact, I should probably do my due diligence and follow up as well. You said you fought a shade stalker in the woods on this. Two shade stalkers.
Two shade
This
stalkers,
is even worse than I imagined.
Yes.
What do you all know of shade stalkers or the Shademyst at this point?
No, though I can kill them.
They die.
They don't
that's-
like radiant damage.
That is a blessing
yeah.
that you all were able to survive this encounter.
Yeah.
Shade stalkers are, well, they're quite deadly, as you may have encountered. They're also quite
Sort of
rare.
into that.
This far east of in Xennelia. Usually they only wander the plains or the woods, just outside of the mountains there.
I'm gonna rush him and say, yeah, the werebear told us all this.
What? Where?
Tika Tik's gonna put her hand up and do the vibrating thing that he was telling her about at the fire.
Okay, he'll say, yes, they do vibrate and are quite difficult to hit. The fact that you found this talisman, you said it was attached in some way?
Around its neck.
A necklace.
If this is indeed true, this is quite disturbing. Because these creatures, this talisman indicates that there was some magic influence over the beasts, but it was not from us. It most likely there were agents of the shade in the proximity, as they can't be. They have to be within a certain range, miles usually, and these shade stalkers, these creatures, often act as scouts for shade. Parties, war bands, what have you, and so this is quite disconcerting. I'm going to go report this to my young lady.
He points to it and does this. Is that asleep? The talisman. The talisman is it asleep?
It is no longer active, if that's what you're asking. So there's no. Most likely, when the creature died, it became inert, because it was probably placed on the creature and made active to that creature.
Do I know what an agent of the shade is?
All of you are familiar with the shade. Okay. You know that the shade came across the mountains in the west in an invasion about 100 years ago. You know this as kind of general history of stories maybe you've heard from soldiers or travelers that passed through the town. You know that there are stories of people who survived an attack from the shade, or you know there was an elven homeland that was captured or destroyed. You know, depends on who tells the story, really. You also know that there are fortresses in both the north and the south where a kind of foreign legion of troops from different nations will rotate and serve in defense against any further invasion, though, again, there has not been any action in over 100 years. But you know the stories you hear of creatures of the shade, or what an agent of the shade, or anything about the shade, you don't really know other than they're dark, they're mysterious, they travel in shadow and mist, and they, you know, definitely kind of a boogeyman, you know, persona or fear, you know, like, oh, you better watch, you know, parents probably, you know, would use the, you know, to scare their children to, you know, obeying, you know, like, oh, you better be careful, or agents of the shade might come and get you if you're not well behaved, you know, stuff like that kind of thing. But it's you know, that kind of level of general knowledge, you know. But again, you wouldn't know what anything looks like. You wouldn't know what an agent of the shade, you know, could be a person, could be a creature, could be a monster. You have no idea. So
Dragon.
Erebus,
So while he's gone,
you would have a little more knowledge on what creatures of the shade look like, what enemies you have fought over the last 100 years, as that has been part of your story. But you guys don't know that. So again, he's standing here and he says, yes, this is most concerning, that they are not only this far east, but also this close to the Tetralith Academy. I must warn them at once. We do have magical means of sentry, and there are some soldiers present, obviously from each nation, but also some here from the Tetralith Academy that are in general guard duty, but it's pretty relaxed. So again, I do need to report this at once. This is something I have only studied. I've never seen. Erebus, you said you were going to ask for that back.
Yeah. I'm going to ask for it back. I'm going to express that two of us almost lost our lives for it. Let us hold on to it, you know, for the time being. Yeah.
Give me a persuasion check. If any of you want to help, you can give him advantage.
Can I assist him with it? I was
Roll with
asking if I could
advantage.
assist him.
Okay.
Can I guide?
Probably a little late now. He's already done one roll.
Yeah.
Give me an advantage roll though if you need to.
Well, it's a 7 plus 3, so that's a 10. So it's that's a 19 plus 3, so that's 22.
22. He kind of looks and
You're
says,
welcome.
Nice.
Very, very well. I understand. You know, this is something that you all have done. He hands it over to you. It says,
Take it, and I throw it over to Loris, or to Vigo. Good
Vigo.
lord.
Okay.
Oops.
He tempts fate again, trying to catch it.
Okay, give me a dexterity roll.
No! Don't you dare
He
drop
thinks
that.
He thinks himself lucky. 6.
No!
You reach out to grab it, and it literally just brushes your fingertips and flies to the back of the room. Your hand is clenched there, though, and you're like... And
I immediately turn around and scramble for it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Nearly lost our lives.
Yeah,
I say that as he's running. I get it.
Honestly, after Erebus, he handed it to Erebus. He turned and went out a door to the back, and basically, like, this is kind of just one big room on this part of the building with a front door and a back door, and then there is a side door. What looks like it's connected. All these kind of buildings are connected, but he goes out the back. And you hear him kind of walking away. So you all are left waiting here.
I am uneasy, completely uneasy
Yeah,
at
I'm a
this
little
point.
nervous. I'm like actually seeing if that person goes. I'm listening. Like, if do they go far away? Like, can I hear how far they go, or do I hear
There are
them talking
windows
or
if
anything
you
like
want to
that?
try to. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to listen? Do you want to try to look? Do you want to like open the door? Like, what do you?
You said there's a
You're all
windows?
in here by
Right.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in this
There's
pavilion,
some.
right? Yeah.
There's some chairs and some tables. There's a fireplace in the corner, but it is basically just kind of a general gathering space. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna put
Nothing-
myself up to the front door to stand watch in case something happens.
Is there anything interesting in the room?
give me a perception check or investigation. Give me investigation.
Oh, you with your investigation. Let's see.
Well, you're looking for. It's not what you see at a glance. 15.
Yeah.
Okay. You look around. There are a couple of paintings on the walls. They look to be of maybe some old wizards. You see.
Aren't they all?
Huh? Yeah.
I said, aren't
yeah.
they all old wizards?
Oh, they're all old wizards. No. I mean, like you've seen a lot of young wizards, like here at the Harvest Festival.
Single stripers.
Yep, a lot of single stripers.
Single stripers.
Wizards.
Gotta write that down. But yeah, you all are in like I said, it seems to be kind of just a general gathering room at this point. You do see the door there that looks like it leads to the other part of the building. Doesn't seem locked, but it just kind of looks like an adjoining door to maybe another. You're not quite sure what.
I'm walking over there and listening to see if I can hear. 'Cause you said that's where they left. That's where that person left to.
No, they left out the back door. Like they basically
Those out the
brought you
back
here to take a seat and wait, in a more private area, and then and talk to you about it, get some information.
After three and a half minutes, Tika's bored and she's trying the door. She's trying to open it up.
Yeah, and I'm
which
listening out
one,
the
the
back door
front
to
door or
see
the
if
back
I can
door?
hear anything.
I mean, the side door, not the one he came through. Like he's gonna come back through there. That's fine. But
Okay.
she's just kind of looking around.
Yeah.
That side door. She'd probably mess with the handle a little bit, see if it would open.
Okay. Mess with the handle. Jiggles like any handle would.
Okay. Can she open it?
Do you try to open it?
I do. I do try to open it.
Yeah. Opens right up. You open it up and you see.
It would be like a crack. I would do like a crack, kind of
Okay.
looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. You open it up and you see what looks like an office, basically. But it's not like it's full of papers and everything like that. But there are desks and there are chairs. In fact, it's less an office. Like your initial thought is an office because you see this one desk, but then you realize there are other desks out there.
It's like,
So when I'm
Like
when I'm
maybe like
listening
a
out this
classroom
back door,
kind of thing.
do I notice that Tika has opened this other door?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was being particularly stealthy. She just
Okay,
opened
so
the
I'm
door.
kind of like
she's just gonna open it up. So there's nobody in there and it's just desks. She's gonna
okay,
bring it open.
Yeah,
like,
there's no one in there. It's dark.
okay. Well, I go in
there's-
there and
There's definitely light coming in from the outside, because this is a full-on, harvest festival. There's parties and celebrations going on, and so there's torches everywhere, lights everywhere. Also, again, the kind of glowing crystal lamp posts that you see that you also emanate sound. But at the moment, like I said, it's probably 9-10 o'clock at night at this point, because you got in at dusk. Probably 6 or 7, a couple hours to get to the thing. So yeah, you're basically like starting to be like evening time, late night.
I am
late night, but
looking around this room. I am reading the papers. I'm opening the desks.
Sure, give me
I'm
an investigation
seeing-
check.
What there is to see.
so.
15.
Okay. You begin looking around. Other than what looks like maybe some ink stains on the desks and stuff like that, there are no papers of any kind in this room. It looks like an empty classroom. With that, you get the sense that maybe while this festival is going on, class is not happening. And so there's not any. Also, this academy of wizards and the like invite hundreds of people. They probably aren't leaving things out. So
the wizard left out of the building.
Yes.
And this is an internal room we're looking in now.
All right, so I kind of I give up on the room and I go back out to the back door where the wizard left and kind of like see if I hear anything.
No, I mean, there's, like I said, there's windows, easy enough. There's lanterns and lights all over the place. There's a path that you're pretty sure he followed that went pretty directly to the ruined tower. Like, you can see the ruined tower out there.
Okay.
There are yellow-robed alkalites and other kind of, you guess, people, sentries of some kind. You do actually see... give me a perception check, Loris.
And as he's doing that, just to check, he's looking out the back door where our mages have left, or wizards have left.
Correct.
Okay.
And you just had the one.
Oh yeah, we got dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, you see. Not only are there, like a few of these wizards that appear to be walking slowly around the tower at a pretty regular pace. There's also, again, because this is a magic and martial school, there are some sentries walking around the tower. And they don't look like they're high alert or anything, but you can tell they have the same kind of livery of the mages, just it's not quite bright yellow robes, but they do have some like tunics and yellow and blue markings on them. And wearing some padded leather armor. Again, this is a very jovial, joyous kind of affair, so they seem a little more informal, but you do tell that they're on duty, basically, trying to keep people from coming into the tower. Because above the tower, this is a large. This is like, again, this is the ruined base of a very large tower. And above it, floating, is where the Tetralith Academy actually is. So,
how do people get in there? Like, sorry.
No, please.
Is that common knowledge? Like, how? You don't know.
You don't know.
I think as I'm at the front entrance where we came in, and I see Loris looking out the door where the wizard left, I'm gonna whistle at him and just, what do you see? What do you see?
Well, they went to the floating tower. I mean, it's guarded, so it doesn't seem to be as part of the festival as everything else. It's definitely not as makeshift and changed and improvised, as everything else is. They said they're going to be back like in 20 minutes, which I don't know how quickly you get in and out of a floating tower and how far into the tower they have to go. So I don't know. I'm definitely keeping my eye on the tower to see who and what and when comes out of there.
Okay. Sorry, DM. I'm totally doing this. So given my rogue nature, I'm going to go ahead and do a head nod. I'm going to do like a finger. I'm going to leave out the front door, and I'm going to go in stealth and get as close to the ruins as possible.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
I'm going to follow him.
Give me a perception check to see if you notice him walk out.
It's a 9 plus a 9, so 18.
Okay.
I don't know what my perception is, but I got an 18.
Okay. You did notice him leave. So he, Erebus, you go out the front, and
Yes.
Again, you're kind of inside the circle at this point. There's not as much festival atmosphere here in this town, because this town is basically the town that is normally there and around the tower.
Yes.
But there is enough people about that, you have to kind of navigate. You try to stick to the shadows. Again, it is night, but there are these street lamps that seem to be everywhere, kind of. So you feel like you're, able to stick to the shadows, but you begin to approach. And you see the guards actually who are kind of circling this tower. And you wait for them to pass. And you kind of flit over to a tree. It's not very big, but you kind of get behind it. They begin to move around a certain kind of like section of this tower, and this tower is not round and smooth. It is broken, and there are large chunks. I mean, like almost like monolith type chunks of this tower that stick up, and so they kind of break sight lines, and so they go around it one way, and you see a break in this tower. That looks like a well-worn footpath going into these ruins of this tower. But as you get to approach it there, you hear a voice say, "Excuse me, is there something we can help you with? This area is off limits."
And I know that he notices me, or does he
Yes.
see Pappy? Do I know Pappy's with me?
I don't know. Are you trying to be stealthy as well, Pappy?
I'm just following him. I wouldn't be
Oh
like,
no!
I saw him walk out the door. I'm going with him. I'm like, all right, I'll just follow
Tell
him.
you what, Pappy, give me a stealth roll. Let's just see if Erebus
Damn it, Pappy!
notices.
Passive
Damn
stealth.
Hey, 19 plus 1. I got a 20.
Hey.
I've ever rolled for stealth. The best I've ever rolled for stealth.
Erebus
don't
doesn't even know
know
Pappy's following him.
Pappy's behind you.
Okay.
But you turn and look, and there is a wizard, a pair of wizards, actually, who are one of the other patrols, and they are looking at you.
Okay. Oh, I am so sorry. I am marveling at this beautiful ruin and didn't know we had a curfew. I apologize. Where is off limits so I know better next time?
Give me a deception check.
Damn it.
Should have told me. Should have brought me with you.
Not bad. 16 plus 3. So I'm a 19.
Okay. He looks at you, and this is clearly not the first person who has tried to enter the tower tonight. And so he's like, that's understandable. Everywhere in the town is available. I mean, if a door's locked, don't barge in. That's just rude. But the tower itself is off limits unless you are accompanied by one of the, one of the other Tetralith Academy members. So
I do a courteous bow. Please excuse my abrasion here. And as I turn, do I get one last glimpse as close as I could get? Do I learn anything from my travel to this tower?
I would say you see, like I said, a well-worn pathway into this tower base. The tower itself, it would be like the tower itself. What remains of these ruins is decently tall, but not everywhere. There's enough light coming in. There's you can tell that this path that you are about to try to enter is probably an entrance of some kind. In fact, you can pretty sure you see one of those illuminated kind of like street lamps inside of it. Like someone like would follow that and go that direction. That's about all you get.
Okay.
So.
Yep. So as I bow, I do like a quick little look around, and I go ahead and return. I don't see Pappy, but I go ahead and return back from whence I came. And as I get back inside, I'm gonna gesture the whole group, to come to me.
Are you still following him back, Pappy? I mean, you weren't necessarily trying to be stealthy, but like
I was just creeping. I was like watching him as he jumped from shadow to shadow.
So,
I'm like trying to mimic what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm like going to the exact same shadow. So yeah, I just like turn around and trace his steps back.
okay,
So I'll come in the door like right behind him.
As I open the door, I'm like, wait, where's Pappy?
And then
I'm a master of disguise.
Oh man.
That was so much fun.
Just gonna step inside and shut the door.
Yeah, step inside. I'm shocked that Pappy is with me.
Like as he opens the door, I'm gonna startle him and just go under his arm. That's like opening the door. I'm just gonna walk under his arm and go down and sit in the middle of the room. That was fun. We should do that again.
Perfect. I didn't even know you left.
I was walking with the highness.
I believe it.
Just everybody in, and I basically tell them what I saw. So everything that you just said, I regurgitate.
Okay, interesting.
No. You don't get off of that. I'll regurgitate what he said.
DM, you tell me.
You heard it.
There you go. Boom.
Okay.
Okay.
So
they should be back pretty soon, right?
Yeah. You finish up kind of telling them what you saw, that you encountered the guards, and about that time the door opens up, and you see the same older wizard come in, and he says, "Hi, there. Thank you for waiting." And he turns to the side and he opens up the door wider. And you see another robed figure step out. This person is in a kind of velvet blue robe. And you notice that there are 3 yellow stripes and then a green and a red stripe on her robed hair. She's very tall.
Sorry, the person with 3 stripes, they had
two of one color. They were in a yellow robe with 2 blue and then another, which you didn't necessarily notice, but now you tell it's green.
Okay. And then
this person is in a blue robe, which you had not seen yet since you've arrived. And they have 5 stripes on their sleeve, 3 yellow, and then what did I say? A red and a green.
A red and a yellow. Or a red and a green.
Red and a green.
It's Christmas.
Christmas, yep.
Golden Christmas.
You see that it is also a human, but it's a human female. She's tall and slender, and she has almost shockingly white hair.
Okay.
She does not look... She looks older, but not old. Especially for her hair to be this white.
Does this person look like intimidating or approachable? Sorry, what did they say when they walked in?
She definitely has an air of authority to her.
Okay. And what did she say when she walked in?
She hasn't said anything yet.
She's got white hair, you say?
Yes. The wizard that spoke to you earlier, he walked in and he said, yes, thank you for waiting. And so opens the door wider and brings her in.
Okay.
Do I recognize her from the tower?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you didn't see her just now. No.
Yep.
So.
Okay. I think I probably just kind of wait to see what she has to say. I have questions. But...
She steps in front of him, and she doesn't look aloof or anything like that, but she does come in, like I said, with kind of a air. She kind of has that presence that some people have that, are used to maybe commanding a room. But she walks in and she glances over all of you for a moment. And she says, hello. Thank you for waiting patiently. I apologize for the delay. I'm sure there are things you would much rather be doing, but the news that you bring to us is most troubling. First, I just want to clarify. You said you fought 2 Shadestalkers, and may I see the talisman that you recovered?
Take it out.
She reaches out.
Hand it over.
As you actually begin to lift it out, she kind of does this, and it just floats over to her hand. She begins to look at it, kind of waves a hand over it, like the guy did earlier, and you see it kind of glow for a second. She says, yes. This is indeed a talisman of the shade. Can one of you please describe these Shadestalkers just so that we make sure we don't miss any details?
They look like chickens without feathers, and they have
Smoke feathers.
Yeah.
Not edible chickens,
were
though. You
black.
can't eat those when they're cooked.
Yeah, and when you burn them, they stink.
Chicken.
You're not allowed to eat them when they burn
Okay.
them.
Smell kind of like bacon, but not quite. It's kind of like if bacon was really gross.
Like old bacon.
Mhm.
Let's move on from the bacon. But you said that they were bird-like, no feathers, covered in smoke.
Yeah.
Have you never seen one?
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen them, yes.
And
I
they
just
would
was confirming that you had
slash
seen
and
them
bite
as well.
and
so-
claw.
Absolutely. Thank you. I don't want
And they
to
have
doubt you,
no
but
morals.
this is disturbing news, as my colleague here did say. Forgive me. I wanted to confirm that before we got into it, but my name is Alicia. Alicia Monsuro.
My name's Vigo.
Greetings, Vigo. I appreciate the great ordeal that you've been here through. I am in the leadership here at the Tetralith Academy. I am sorry that you all encountered these creatures, but was anyone lost to these creatures?
Oh, no.
So this is your whole party then?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. We were joined by a
Oh,
werebearer.
A werebearer.
We would have been lost. We would have been
Oh, yeah,
lost if
the
not for
teal
this
fella.
river.
Yes. Teal fella.
Probably would have died. Maybe probably would have died.
But
Do
you
you-
can't tell me that you don't know what's happening in the woods outside of this event.
She looks at you, Erebus, and she says, forgive me, what was your name, sir?
You can
I
just
go
call him Your Highness. He goes by that.
She doesn't pay
royal.
any attention to Pappy.
He's royalty.
You may call me Azrael.
Azrael. Give me a deception check.
Damn it. It sounded cool.
Isn't that Gargamel's cat?
Yes.
It's a 10.
Okay. She says, very well, Azrael.
Oh, she's dumb.
Let me tell you this. Yes, we are most often aware of what is going on in the surrounding area. However, the woods are not tame by any means. Creatures can enter them without our knowledge. You did travel many miles into them, if I am correct. You completed your survival skills challenge. And while we are aware of the normal flora and fauna that are found in the woods, and this was still meant to be a challenge, there was possibility of you encountering most common creatures. This, however, is not a common creature, and these talismans are proof that these are most likely scouts of some kind of the Shade.
You mean there's more?
The reason that this is most concerning is, as you say, we were unaware that they had traveled so far to the east. They are, by their nature, quite difficult to track. And if they are traveling with some party, whether it be another scouting party or a warband of some kind, there is someone controlling these on the other end, who will now know that they have been revealed, that their presence in the woods to the north have been revealed. At this time, we are already preparing to forego any further survival challenges into the woods, because this is something that we are going to have to discuss with many people in higher authorities across
We can take 'em.
multiple nations. Take them what?
Yeah,
We
we can
did.
defeat them.
You defeated
Well-
these two Shade stalkers, and that is quite an accomplishment. In fact, it to the extent
your
that it
training
matters
and
with his
our
survival, it
Instincts.
is an accomplishment to be recorded and recognized. As such,
Except for getting any food.
we can provide you with food.
Oh,
Yeah.
In fact,
It's about time.
in fact, can you? When she turns to the elder gentleman, can you see to their needs for the evening and make sure that they are taken care of, as well as receiving what we discussed earlier? And he said,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Good.
She says, I would like to make sure that I can call on you again if I need to have your testimony brought for other leaders. Are you all agreeable to that? Like I said, this is quite disturbing that these creatures are this far to the east, and there will be actions taken. In fact, we may, try to take a group to discover them, and would very much like it if you would accompany them.
Absolutely.
Elysium, if I may call you.
You can just
By
call her
first name.
Mrs. Whitlock.
You Elysium. Help us understand what we're up against. It took 5 of us to defeat 2 of them. We have an
Yes.
entire event of aspiring heroes. Are you saying that we don't have the capability of staving them off with what we have here?
We have the capability. However, I would request your presence to make sure that we get back to the right place and we can begin our investigation from there. I will let you all rest as you all have traveled throughout the day, I'm sure. But tomorrow morning, you won't be going to your next trial. I would, like I said, ask your assistance in this, and it will be well rewarded, I can assure you. This is something that could have implications far beyond this festival and the borders of even these 4 nations here that we are a part of.
Sounds really heroic.
Only
I'm
if you
born for this.
survive.
We were all born for this.
As far as the capability to handle these creatures, yes. I mean, while they are quite ferocious, they can be dealt with. You yourselves did handle them, and that is no small feat, but it is also most likely just a taste of what may be coming. Without speculating too much, finding scouts of the Shade this far east could mean any number of things, but it could also mean the possibility of a renewed invasion.
Do you have any tips on dealing with them in the future? Seems like you know a lot about these creatures.
Whenever they are scouting as part of the shade, they are usually in pairs. By nature, these creatures are solitary outside of certain seasons. But if, they were traveling together, they were under some control. And, honestly, giving yourself the advantage to hit them. And, if you do land a hit on them, they are nullified from using their abilities for a short amount of time. That usually stuns them a moment. That is definitely the time to press the advantage. But, yes, young lady.
She points to the talisman. How far? How far to the talisman?
Okay. She notices you're moving, and if you mouth the kind of words, how far, she recognizes what you said and says, the distance that someone would have to control these would be within 2 to 5 miles, approximately. I myself have not, again, and she looks to you, Erebus, and to the group, kind of takes you all in and says, do forgive me, but I was not alive when the last invasion happened. Though I have been studying this for many years, and do have experience. The invasion was over 100 years ago. So,
how far were we from town when we ran into these shade stalkers?
You had traveled a full day. Given, the woods are a mile from the wall or so, and then you traveled, without really stopping for the remainder of the day. You got your stuff kind of mid-morning, 20, 30 miles. It's kind of depending on how far.
Okay.
Say
so
that
it's
again?
not like there's no potential that the person controlling the shade stalkers was in town.
Not in town, no. I mean, they were most likely somewhere else in the woods, from what she said.
Okay.
But she says to you, is there any other questions you may have? At the moment, you may return to your tents, to your camps, but I would ask that you would meet here in this building tomorrow morning, as opposed to going to the others. We will have a repast for you in the morning as well, but we would like to be able to talk with others, and like I said, we need to investigate this as quickly as possible.
I think we can do that. Is everyone else agreeable to that?
Yes.
Now, I will also say that I know Vigo and myself and the rest of us, we were, really serious and intent on coming here for the trials to be, accepted into the academy and honing certain skills and honing certain abilities. So I understand that we've come across something really important here, but we also wouldn't want to miss out on the opportunity.
Absolutely.
To learn what we came here to learn.
Let me put it this way. Though your experience has now shifted and it will probably be outside of the normal, facing these beasts, accompanying us on these other tasks, will count towards quite a bit for any goals you may have as far as what you meant to accomplish here. And we'll carry great weight with myself and those others in leadership within the Tetralith Academy.
Yeah, that's good. We trust you on that. So, or at least I do. So I don't want to speak for everybody. I do. So, if no one else has any questions, I am actually very curious about the color of the robes and the stripes and all the robes. Is that like schools of magic, or what's the story behind all this?
She
I
kind of
ask, are you like How are you involved with the school? Are you a teacher here, a dean?
Pardon me.
Starbucks.
I know. No. She looks first at you, Loris, and then at you, Vigo, and says, I am not an instructor at present, but I am on the council of I am on the Tetralith Council. I am one of the members of leadership here.
So do you decide who gets into the school and who doesn't?
Not personally on a normal basis, but assisting with this definitely will put you in good standing.
Great.
As far as your question, young man, the robes do in fact indicate rank and area of expertise, but I will leave that a bit of a mystery, and I'll explain it at another time.
The only request that I have is that you include us in the pursuit. If we give you the intel, if we meet with whoever you want us to meet with tomorrow morning, that we run point, that we are part of this initiative.
I assure
That's
you
my
that
one request.
I am not, nor are we in the habit of taking along people to babysit. And so, yes, your contribution will be required, and gladly, I might add, especially
I'm in.
with
Right.
the evidence that you did survive and take on these. You will receive, for what it's worth, highest marks within the survival challenge, but more importantly, you do have my respect for surviving and this encounter and bringing us this information. So
I turn to the rest of the group and I say, I'm in.
I'm in.
I would again ask your name so that I can inform those who will meet with us tomorrow. I believe you were, and she looks at you, Erebus.
Yeah. I go by Azrael.
If you prefer to, Azrael, you are not unknown to us. And you get the sense that you know why they would probably recognize you.
Yeah.
So,
Checking.
and she kind of gives you a little smile, but she still calls you Azrael. She just says, yes. Kind of goes along with it. She looks at you, Vigo, and says, "And you, young man, you seem to hail from Theorandia."
Vigo. Yeah, Vigo.
Vigo. Aye.
Vigo Grigorovich.
Vigo Grigorovich, thank you for your service in this, and appreciate it. And then she kind of looks in turn at each of you, Loris.
Loris Longswall. And I don't emphasize Longswall, but I kind of look to see if they recognize the last name.
Okay. Give me a oh my gosh. Insight check.
Perception, insight? Okay,
Yeah,
insight.
insight.
We got a good one here. 22.
Okay. You do notice that she gives a glimmer of recognition to the name.
Yep.
So, Pappy.
Hey, Pappy's gonna bow real low. He's gonna be like, "Oh, my dearest, you can call me Mr. Whitlock or husband, whatever you feel the need to call me."
She looks at you and says, "Charmed, I'm sure." And you, young lady. Okay, and you give your Tika Tik sound, and she says, "It is an honor to meet you." And she says, "Very well. I will meet you all back here in the morning. If you seek any entertainment for the evening, then please, you have definitely earned it. And she indicates to her companion, and he reaches out and he hands each of you, while you only had one of those coins, he gives you a smaller coin that has the Tetralith Academy symbol on it, in yellow. So again, probably freshly minted for this occasion, and so it has that, and then it has kind of a starburst on the other side. And so she hands it to you and says, "This should cover any of your requirements for the evening, whether food or supplies, what have you." So
The yellow starbursts are always the worst.
Dude, you crazy. You crazy.
she says,
As
"I will bid you good night, and I will see you first thing in the morning."
as
Okay,
we
we'll see you in the morning.
walk out, I want to walk by Pappy, and as we're walking out, I say, "You know, my mother always used to talk about festivals. She would say, some people really love to go to the festival, and some people went to go to the festival to love."
Yeah, I think she was into me too. As he fixes his hair.
All right. And with that, I think we will bring our evening to a close. You thank you all for joining us this evening.
Happy's new love interest.
Pappy is enamored. That's to be expected, right? So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it.
It's fun.
A little more insight into the world of Xennelia. And now I have to
I
go
have to go
back
take
and
a shower.
record everything that I made up on the fly for you guys. So, yes, the paint. Hopefully that comes off for tomorrow.
We did do a test beforehand, but I did not. I did. Yeah, no, I had half my face covered, and I told my wife, I was like, "Man, I should have checked this to see if it's gonna come off. Otherwise, it's gonna be really weird going to work tomorrow." And then she's like, "Well, let's see." So I washed my hands. It comes off really easy with water.
Good.
But I probably don't need to leave it on all night. I might stain my skin.
I would not.
These people in these restaurants I walk into will be really off-putted, because I mean I did my whole skull too. So
Oh my gosh.
Well played. Well played.
That's dedication.
yeah, I did my. So yeah,
I appreciate that.
Right though, Austin's right. I got to commit.
It
mean,
looks
you
so
do.
much worse with the wig off. It looks so much worse. I'm
It's
uncomfortable
horrible,
now.
does it not?
It looks pretty weird without the wig.
It's kind of uncanny valley right now. Yeah.
It really is.
It's
Oh
funny
my
because
goodness.
Ikra is a friend of mine, and he popped in here. Him and his girlfriend, they're
Awesome.
watching, and
Thank
they
you
popped in
for
here.
joining us. Ping.
They immediately messaged me and were like, "You look so weird with hair."
I know, right? Ping, also, thank you for joining us. Austin, thank you for joining us in chat this evening. Also, I know we had Joshua. Josh, thank you for joining us as well. Glad to see you again. And for everyone else, thank you for joining us. We hope you had a fun time as we did. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Good night. God bless.